Hey everybody, wanted to do a quick video update on some very important stuff. So on May 4th, the County Board of Supervisors will be voting on an ordinance that will have devastating effects on landlord rights in San Diego County. In short, the ordinance would limit any rent increase to inflation rate. That's currently 1.8% for San Diego County. That's an annual rent increase cap of 1.8%. Furthermore, it would eliminate all landlord rights to evict a tenant, to terminate a lease, or use a court-granted writ of possession to enforce right of possession. So it would override any court orders given. This affects all landlords within the county. While the ordinance does not tell tenants to stop paying rent, it does remove any accountability for the tenants to pay and removes all avenues of recourse for landlords. The County Board of Supervisors originally tried to sneak this ordinance into law in early April, but only got 3 out of the 5 votes that they needed. It needed 4 at that time to pass as an emergency measure. However, this time around, May 4th, it will only need 3 votes to pass. 2 of the board members helped write this ordinance. We need everyone possible to let their voice be heard and show up to this Zoom meeting on May 4th. The ordinance, as written, is to remain in effect for at least 4 months after going into the yellow tier, and if the tier system is removed, 2 months after the state of emergency is declared to be over. But in short, there is no solid end date. This could go into perpetuity. The ordinance, written by council members Vargas and Fletcher, represents an absurd overreach in power and authority. While the goal is to help those affected by COVID, there are already very strong measures in place to protect tenants, to give them assistance, and to help those who are affected by COVID. Some of the likely consequences of this ordinance include reduced single-family housing options for tenants, as landlords are going to start selling their properties. This will hurt tenants. Further upward pressure on prices all around as the supply-demand imbalance further worsens. This will affect tenants. Tenant-occupied homes for sale will not be able to be purchased by FHA or VA buyers because they have no clear date of possession. This will further worsen the resale supply-demand imbalance. Landlords that are nuisances cannot be removed. Therefore, all the neighbors and the neighborhood will suffer and have to deal with unwanted and perhaps illegal and or dangerous behaviors. So imagine you're a tenant and your next door neighbor's got shady stuff going on. There's zero recourse landlords have to move them out. The financial burden of a tenant who does not pay rent will be shouldered solely by the landlord, who may end up homeless themselves or foreclosed on as a result. Lastly, landlords who want to sell or move back into their property have no ability to lawfully terminate a lease under this ordinance. That's just the top 6 things that came to mind. There are many more, and furthermore, the longer this goes on, the worse this problem is going to get, and the less chance this is going to be a reparable issue. There is a problem with people not being able to pay rent. Nobody's disputing that. However, these were caused in large part to government reactions and restrictions. These acts are not COVID's fault. This is because of the reaction to COVID. Requiring an unwilling segment of the population to single-handedly carry this financial burden is unethical at best and probably illegal. In my opinion, this amounts to nothing short than robbery and extortion. If there's a problem to be solved, let's solve the problem, not shift it from one person to another. One way to do this is to allocate the $40 million in county COVID relief funds to assist tenants who are legitimately struggling, instead of doing what the Board of Supervisors wants to do, and that's to send it over to county employees who have not missed paychecks and who have guaranteed retirements. Put the money where it will make the most difference. The draconian measures of this proposed ordinance are completely unnecessary and are being used for political grandstanding. I don't mean for this to sound doomsday-ish, but anyone with at least a basic economic background can understand that this ordinance is the absolute wrong solution. We are on our way out of the pandemic. There's light at the end of the tunnel. The last thing we want to do is turn around and go looking for trains. Again, we need help from everyone. We need everyone possible to let their voice be heard and show up to this May 4th Zoom meeting. Please check out the links in the description here. There's a link for the ordinance itself where you can read all 9 pages, and there's a link that you can follow to let your voice be heard. plead with everybody to please show up to this meeting, protect your landlord rights, and protect private home ownership rights. We need to do all that we can right now. Thanks for your time and attention. Again, this is Peter Carlson with Paracelsus Property Management. Looking forward to talking to you again soon.